Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I've got another book review for you today, and we're going to be taking a look at Tarkin, a Star Wars story written by James Luceno. James Luceno was the author of Plagueis, which I've also reviewed. It's my favourite of the Star Wars books so far, and we're going to jump into it. So first of all, if you're new here, do like the video. If you enjoy it, subscribe to the channel, and it really helps us out here, and also you won't miss the content. So as you can see, I've got the in-hand paperback of it. I actually got this for my birthday back in February, and it was a great read. One of the things I will say is it's like Plagueis in the sense of it's one of the more technical Star Wars reads, but that makes it very detailed, and it's very good. It's not that I'm saying it's a difficult read, it's that you have to pay attention a lot more to some of the detail to really make the story comprehensive in a way that it gives you the full story, but also because of the language of like the equipment or things that you've not sort of pronounced before. In that kind of sphere of things. Also, the book is an origin story in a way, but also it's kind of like taking place just after Revenge of the Sith. So obviously you can see, like from the cover, you've got Tarkin, which is a beautiful bit of artwork of Tarkin with those cheekbones, those insanely skeletal cheekbones that make him look so kind of eerie. But then you've got Vader in the background, if you can kind of see. So as you can see, nice bit of artwork there. So it picks up just after Revenge of the Sith, and it sort of explains how Tarkin and Vader began to basically work together, and how they became a great duo that you kind of see in A New Hope and stuff like that later on, because although Tarkin was kind of featured in the Clone Wars and that era, he didn't have many run-ins with Anakin, and also when Anakin becomes Vader, Tarkin doesn't explicitly know that, but the book kind of goes into his feelings about that and his suspicions, but also it really touches really nicely on Tarkin's upbringing, his path, his journey, before the Clone Wars, to get him to where he was, to then get him to the status of Grand Moff later in his career, and it really boosts my understanding of Tarkin. I mean, Tarkin was one of those characters where he was he's very renowned and revered and stuff like that, but you never kind of knew why he got the status he did, other than he's savage, and in terms of like his decision making, and also his tactics. He's a great tactician, but the book really dives into how he really is a cut above the rest, and he's driven by his very particular sense of political and moral standings align with what the Empire is trying to sort of achieve, and I guess what the Republic was trying to achieve, and why he then aligned with the with the Emperor and the Empire moving forward, rather than just kind of folding under the pressure or just being a yes man. He the book kind of goes into how he truly believes what they're kind of fighting for, almost, or trying to instill in the galaxy. But it's a really great story. I don't want to spoil it too much, obviously, because I don't want to go into too much that would make you not want to read the book. But like I say, it takes place just after Revenge of the Sith. We get some dialogue with him on Coruscant and the Emperor, with Vader, the Council, that presides around the Emperor, him, on his various stations throughout the galaxy during those years, and then we kind of get flashbacks to various parts of his childhood and trials that he's kind of overcome, and trials that have made him the person he is today, and then we also kind of get a crescendo of it all comes full circle at the end. It's really nicely done, actually. I wasn't expecting it to come full circle the way I did. I did read it so in the end, but I think that goes to kind of show, like, this book isn't a very, as you can see, a very thick book, so it's a nice length of a read, considering it's Tarkin. So you're probably not gonna necessarily jump into a huge book about Tarkin just off the face of it. But I would definitely read a sequel to this, for example, or a trilogy of this now, having read the first one. Yeah, it's a great book, great story. I highly recommend it, to be fair. In terms of up there on my list of books to get hold of, I mean, this was it was on offer on Amazon actually during my birthday kind of month, and it was £5, and that's why with my Amazon gift card I picked it up. But it's a great read. I mean, honestly, I would put it up there with kind of Plagueis and stuff in terms of that caliber of book. Obviously, you might say, well, it's Tarkin, it's not, it's not that intriguing of a story, but it actually was so well written. James Luceno is I think one of the best of the Star Wars novel writers, to be honest. And he's a New York Times bestseller for a reason, with multiple books. So you can kind of see here from the blurb, I'll give you a kind of overview of what to get into the book with. Is groomed by the ruthless politician and Sith Lord who would be Emperor, Governor Wilhelm Tarkin rises through the Imperial ranks, enforcing his authority mercilessly while pursuing his destiny as the architect of absolute dominion. Under Tarkin's guidance, an ultimate weapon of unparalleled destruction moves ever closer to becoming a terrifying reality. But insurgency remains a genuine threat. Guerrilla attacks by an elusive band of freedom fighters must be countered with swift and brutal action, a mission the Emperor entrusts to his most formidable agents, Darth Vader, the fearsome new Sith enforcer, and Tarkin, whose tactical cunning and cold-blooded efficiency will pave the way for the Empire's supremacy and its enemies' extinction. And as you can kind of see from that, that's kind of what I'm summarising really, and it does touch on his involvement with the Death Star, but that's kind of not what the main part of the story is about. It just kind of touches on how he was overseeing it, was brought away to deal with something else, and wants to kind of go back to that because he feels that it's at the level of his station to be in charge of such a big project. And the book kind of takes you full circle to why he is the man in charge in the end, and I think it's really boosted my experience of A New Hope because of that. The actor that played Tarkin did a brilliant job, and his look was, it is fantastic. And he didn't have many lines in that movie, but I think he carries himself with such a confidence that you really feel like his words have meaning. And then in Rogue One, obviously, Peter Cushing had sadly passed away at that time, so obviously that's not him. But again, a great performance that they've manufactured for that. And then I think this book really bolstered that with some great content. So I would definitely recommend this book. I'd put it up there. I'd say it's probably an 8 out of 10 for me. I mean, it's a great book. I wouldn't knock it. I just wouldn't put it up there with the 10 out of 10 just because of the content in terms of it is Tarkin and the Imperials. So for me it was really interesting. For some people maybe they're not going to jump on Tarkin being a really interesting story. Actually, I'm gonna move it to a 9 because it is a really good book. So a 9 out of 10 for me. So do get yourself a copy of this and have a read if you have a chance, or jump onto Audible and get an Audible version. I'm sure it will be just as good, especially with the sound effects and things like that. I think with this book specifically, for example, there's a lot of descriptions of battle scenes or machinery and all these sorts of things that if you've not seen it before or can't imagine it or whatever, it's the audio book and the audio descriptions really help with that, just with kind of sounds and descriptions of people's voices and things like that, to kind of just give you a little bit more immersion. But I thought the book did that. James Luceno is fantastic at immersing you in his stories, so I think the book did that just fine for me. But yeah, definitely recommend this. So I'm going to leave you with this one, guys. Take care, and as I always say, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. It really helps me out, and you won't miss any of the uploads to come. So I'm going to leave you with this one, guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.